Record GDP. U.S. economic growth growing at 33.1%. This is, again, a record-shattering pace. This was the third quarter. This was when the businesses started reopening after the COVID-19 shutdown.
These are great numbers for Americans of all political stripes, to be honest with you. I mean, you mentioned the 7.4% GDP growth annualized out to about 33%. Jordan, that makes up for about 2/3 of the economic hit that we took due to the coronavirus already coming back, a monumental achievement. One other sort of secondary number in here that I think is important for people to pay attention is that real consumer spending rose by almost 9%. That means people have realized that there's a little bit of extra money inside their budget, a little bit more extra money inside their checkbook, even though some of that stimulus did not happen because Speaker Pelosi blocked it. So their spending has increased by 9%. That's a big number. But Jordan, I think you're right that the story might get lost a little bit. But what that consumer spending number tells me is that the American people realize this. They have already started to feel the recovery, the revival come back.
We don't usually play Joe Scarborough, who really turned on the president these last few years, but he understands politics as a former politician himself. He may not like this, but he said this on MSNBC this morning. Take a listen.
Bottom lining this for the election that everybody's looking at 5 days from now, Donald Trump's going to be able to run around and saying this last quarter, the economy grew at a record rate, the highest rate ever, period, end of sentence.
This is an amazing growth in the gross domestic product in light of what some would call the recession caused by the coronavirus. And so I see it, in my view, as the direct result of President Trump, who has made restoring what was a totally vibrant economy before the pandemic hit from the coronavirus downturn into the centerpiece and the focal point of his bid for re-election.
I think, today's job numbers, for instance, a huge spike in the economy is just reflective of what Donald Trump does best as an outsider, as a businessman. And he's going to focus the economy. And if we want to improve the economy after this COVID crisis, we're going to need to have a president who is a businessman.
The previous record was post-World War II was at 16.7% increase in 1950. So again, even if you revive that, it may have been like 31. This is the largest ever GDP growth, 33%, heading into Election Day, where we know, bottom line, voters that kind of wait to cast their votes that aren't very partisan, that small group that's kind of in the middle that hasn't kind of made up their mind, oftentimes it's about their pocketbook.